We've got about just about 9 hours here left of this weekly candle. It's not going to end a very particularly pretty one, as we all know. We're still waiting for Bitcoin, as it came very, very stupendously close the other day. It came down to 93,989, and I was very transparent on Friday saying I wish it would have just come down here, filled out this extended version of this pattern that we've talked about. And the only reason we put it there with any validity and think it has to come down there, and it's not because I'm making something up. It's not just we're not just throwing a dart into the board. We're not just making up a spot on the, on the Bitcoin chart. It's that there's actually a fair value gap left there. Now, if you don't understand what a fair value gap is, it's basically an area that's left on the chart, and it traded out of there quickly, and it wasn't able to, let's just say it wasn't able to have a proper buy and sell transfer. It went too quick, and now it leaves an imbalance, so to say, and it ends up leaving a gap area that you have to come down and trade and fill. Now, that's not to be confused with the CME gap that is also sitting out here right now. That's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and that's closing on Friday. So, like, we have a gap on Friday right now. For Bitcoin, it closed at 94,365. Bitcoin's at 95,280. It suggests it should come down. XRP, on the other hand, its futures closed at $2.26.8. Right now, it's at $2.21.6. We don't have a gap left down at $1.50. We already filled that, as where Bitcoin has one down there, a couple thousand down. So for XRP, it feels like to me we're gonna trade within the range that Bitcoin does, but I'm still gonna caution everybody: if you're not in something, if you're in something right now, if you're in it and you've been building, or you've been in it for a while, or you're up a lot, or if you're trying to ride this down, depending on what your own perspective is, like right now, if you're in something in your position where you want, it's not necessarily going to be a trader's game here. You're gonna have to have a nice plan here, and hopefully you bought in an area where you're comfortable with, because two things can happen. The reason I say this isn't a trader's area right now is we're going to get our chance to fully liquidate if this market goes to complete caboots. And I'll explain it real quickly. So Bitcoin, there's no reason to panic yet, even with XRP, if you wanted to fully get out, because it's not the time right now. You're legitimately not in that area. One, the weekly is so oversold right now in Bitcoin that it's absurd. The daily now is caught up and is oversold for Bitcoin, which is phenomenal. And you would get your opportunity. Let's just say worst case scenario. And let's just, ready? Everybody take a breath. We got to do this morning. Everybody take a breath. Had it in my head. Do I come in hardcore, or do I come in calm and relaxed and on point? And I'm going to come in calm and relaxed instead of in your face. So good morning. 10:06 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Sunday, November 16th. 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. I seem to be swimming on a pile of XTC, IOTA, Algo. I can see until the eyes are clear. We can see things. But one more breath. One more time. You know why we have to get to a center balance? Because if we speak, trade, act on emotion, we're going to make the wrong decision more times than not. When we feel like we're up against it, especially in the trading world, when we feel like it's all lost, we're going to make a bad decision. So what I want to say right now is, if you were going to have a wholesale, and Frankie Fresh, you are not fucked, I promise you, because even if you feel fucked, let's say you're down 60% right now. Honestly, let's just say everybody's down 60%. Here's the caveat here. You can balance yourself out. Watch this. So let's just say for whatever reason Bitcoin can't hold 92,400 and some change. Let's just say we can't hold it. Let's say we fall through that fair value gap, and instead we now validate that rising wedge breakdown, which is what we're falling out of already, and we lost 99,687, and we do in fact come down, say it happens, we come down and we do this. Well, first of all, Michael Saylor's over there on the roof, and we're going to have to talk him down because he's about to jump off the cliff. So, Mr. Saylor, it's okay. It's not the end of the world yet. I mean, for you it might be, but, you know, but we're going to have to talk him off a ledge because he's going to see his fortune flash before his eyes. But then again, he's controlled opposition. He's the illusion to get general dummies in retail to buy Bitcoin. No offense if you're a dummy, because I'm a dummy too, so we fit. Not because I bought Bitcoin, but for other reasons. Quite the opposite, because I didn't buy Bitcoin, 15 years ago. How about that? So we're all dummies in a way. But Michael Saylor's the biggest dummy because he legitimately could have just bought gold or silver. Imagine this guy's touting Bitcoin. He's up 27%. Oh, God. If I was only up 27% and I owned all that Bitcoin on all that loan, I'd be freaking the hell. But then again, he's controlled opposition, so he don't care. Anyhow. So, getting back to my point, if this was going to happen and we had to fill out the rising wedge, there's no reason to do anything right now. There's just no reason to worry about it right now. I promise. Because if it is going to fall out, and let's just say we come down here, there's no reason to own anything. If we fall out in Bitcoin, I'm being straight up. If you don't have something you're holding forever, like ever, and you bought it in good spots, you don't hold anything for this drop. If Bitcoin drops 36%, I don't hold anything. Maybe XRP, the 34-cent XRP, since I already sold the 38-cent XRP that we got last year when we got the gift. For if you're new, we had bought at 34 cents back in 23. And then in 24, when it went down to 38, I bought $5,000 more through the XRP Bitcoin pairing at the time. And then sold it out when XRP hit plus 350. But there's that 34-cent one that I'm not touching. So even if it comes back to 34, I've already made it up in my mind. I'm not touching that. And people are going to be like, well, why? Well, maybe I would touch that. But it's got to break a certain point. I don't know, though. Because I bought the second one, so I just wouldn't have to trade the first one. That was the point. So I don't know if I'm necessarily, unless it proves to me that it's going to come back down like sub 50 cents. Okay, well, that's a different story. But I didn't buy that first bag to trade. That's just a discipline thing for me. Unless I have to, like I said. Because this market's not done. Even if it comes to 59K, that doesn't invalidate the rest of anything. This would just, it would suck. If it comes down there, it's going to hurt. But just remember, the sell point wouldn't be when we lost the actual rise. It would be if we lose this gap. Because technically, I'm telling you, this ain't right. Okay? This isn't right. If everybody could predict the market to be the end of the cycle, it's not the end of the cycle. If everybody can predict it, you're talking about people that couldn't predict, the sand on a beach. When they're right in front of it, sitting in it, they couldn't predict that it was sand on the beach. They thought they were sitting on rocks. And now all of a sudden they just know sand from a fucking 10 billion miles from space. They can see sand now. I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. You know what I believe? I believe the fact that it's going to be the biggest. If you believe that this is the end of the bull market, don't hit the like button. But if you believe it hasn't even started yet for the altcoins, or if you believe this is the grandest deception we're ever going to see, think about this. It's the same thing I said in 23 when everybody started getting divided and they all got pissed at crypto. We're ending quantitative easing to tightening December 1st. We know the printing presses are going to go out of this world, out of whack. We already know we're getting at least a quarter basis point rate cut. I don't care if it says there's an 18 or 20% chance of a rate hike. I'm telling you right now that's not happening. Because the government's not going to print money and freaking raise the rates at the same time when they're in quantitative easing and not tightening. That's just idiotic. So they're gonna purposely pay more money that they don't have and look stupider to the world. Not at this point. They can't do it yet. They are stupid, but not that stupid. Not yet. Actually, they are that stupid, but that's not what's going to happen. So you couple all these bullish things, and then we go to the other thing. We are at a yearly low. Remember I said we were going to take out the yearly low with the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. That's what I was waiting for. We're at it right now. I would imagine in 8 hours and 23 minutes, we should take out the yearly low. Agreed? So never in history Has a cycle ended, especially when it never started? Have we ever topped out when crypto, the fear and greed index, was not just in fear or extreme fear? We're almost bottoming out of extreme fear by the time this next one comes out. I keep talking about getting to 6, 7. I want to be in that range for a reason. Because that's where you start to get to a point where, remember, everybody wanted to buy this. They thought it was the cream of the crop when we were at 100, 98, 96, 94, extreme greed. With all of this stuff, I need to refresh it. Why? It's at, why? I don't understand why I need to refresh it. It's at 10 right now. It doesn't refresh for another 8 hours and 46 minutes. Yes. No, yesterday it moved around. Yesterday it was moving around yesterday. But yeah, it started and ended at 10. But with the crypto fear and greed index, we either are bottoming or we're going to get down. I think we're going to go down one little bit more. But this is what you want. This is everything. Like all of this is bullish for crypto. This is what you want, everybody. I've been waiting freaking 10 months to be able to talk like this. Have I not? I said in middle of November, we'd be able to see the direction finally. It's finally starting to happen. This needed to happen. This is perfect. And it's not by accident that my picture looks like this. Does that look like it's going to be gravy? No, there's a lot of destruction. There's a lot of deception. But you're going to get the grand rising if you just follow through and you understand or you just pay attention. That's the whole point of this. Mid-November was going to be chaos. Does that look like it's not chaos in that picture? That's what I switched my channel portfolio to, for peep's sake, because I knew it was going to be this chaos. And I'm not a financial advisor at the end of the day. This is just what I think is happening. You know, this is what I think is going on. So that's the bottom line, you know, and I have to point to Bitcoin first because there are make it or break it areas, but I'm telling you, I've never seen it. And the only thing that I can say is the monthly. Even the monthly is starting to get to a point where we're like, holy crap. Like the monthly's surpassed neutral. The weekly, and we've talked about this before, and same thing with XRP. The last time we were this low in the stochastic, and Bitcoin has been essentially bottomed out here at 2 point. I mean, it's under 3. I know we can go down to point whatever. We've been down to 0.46 in Bitcoin's history, I believe. Oh, no, not Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin, yes. Yes, we were. I remember when we went way low in the beginning. Well, we have to go way back here. But we came way down, and we that was when we went ballistically crazy down. And then you rise out. You have the grand rising. It seems too easy, because why wouldn't we build a shoulder? Like, if this really is a shoulder, double top, why wouldn't we come back out and build a shoulder, at least coming back up and back testing? Maybe it would be up to 113. Like, why wouldn't we back test that? Even if this was worst case scenario, why wouldn't this happen? I'm yet to see a case where this doesn't happen. When it's a universal breakdown, why wouldn't it drag out here? And then it doesn't make any sense not to do that. Like, you got top, wouldn't it top over here? If it just comes down like this, I feel like that's just too I don't know, maybe I'm just reading into it, but with all the metrics, if any idiot can, this is like the shoe shiner telling you to buy something. Now the shoe shiner's telling you it's over. You know, now everybody who has proven they don't understand the chart, now they all collectively agree that the chart's done. And now I'm looking at it going, you know what? If I wasn't an idiot, if I didn't know any better, I would say this is starting to be in the favor. Why would we be said? No, this is where you're supposed to start buying when it starts looking like this. And once it gets to your point, and my whole point is I want to see this play out another $3,000 down for Bitcoin, because that should put us right where we need to be. That should put XRP here at $1.99. I know it's hard to hear, but it should. It should bring us down to the bottom of this if that's what needs to happen. Even if we're in a bullish megaphone, sure, we can come down here first and then rise out. Then we don't have to go up and down, back up. Maybe we do come down and hit it the third time and break out when we come up here. But that still means we have to meet this $1.99 area. It does. That's what it speaks to. So what is it telling me? We're coming down there. I don't care how many times everybody wants to say it's going up. It's not. It can't. It's not ready. In fact, every time it goes up like that, it's a bigger kick in the nuts because then it has to come back down farther. So how about we just drop here? Let this finish off. Let the daily clear out. We've got the death cross. Let it clear out. Stop going up because then it makes these other time frames force it back down. Remember, when you're coming down and then you go back up like this, you collect a bigger base, so it drops even farther. So that's how we're going to end up finding our way down here. There's no guarantees in life, but if I was a betting man, which I'm not, because I'm not betting leverage to the downside, even if it's 1x, because it screws up the way I look at things, it just does. There's a price to be paid to gamble. Gamble, you're done. You know, and then you start thinking of it in the wrong ways. Then I'm looking for the short pricing instead of looking for the entry pricing and looking for the long entry. It's a nightmare. So what I'm saying is I expect this to come down here to $1.99. I expect it. I don't just demand it. I expect it. If it doesn't come down there, it's going to leave an area that I think needs to come down to at some point. Now, the problem is this technical inverse head and shoulders is technically not invalidated yet. So if Bitcoin would have just filled that stupid gap and this would have just came straight down without this, why did it have to do this? This is what I was talking about on Friday. Don't do this. Or on Saturday, don't do this. Just come on. Stop doing this crap where it has to refresh itself. But there's a lot to be happy about. Remember, when everybody's scared, when everybody's running, that's when I say you got to have your stuff to the side. You got to have some money on the sidelines if you want to involve yourself, or maybe you're not involved at all. So you have to start looking at the parts where it needs to hit. I don't know what Bitcoin's doing right now. I just feel like it's a grand, like, hey, it's very inviting here when it's showing a obvious breakdown pattern. Now, if it goes up here and goes to 99.6, I've already told you this is going to be a disaster. If we go up to 99,600 first to get rejected at that rising wedge, I'm preparing by offloading a lot of stuff and preparing for 70, or what is that, 50 something? 59, maybe it holds at 75, 80, but I'm preparing for a big drop if that happens. A huge drop. I'm just warning it. If it goes up to 99.6 before we come down to the gap, there's a reason. And I'm preparing for a shitstorm of the highest order. So we just need this to come down now. I would prefer for this to overshoot. So you can prepare for a shitstorm now, even if you want. Because if this is a bear flag, and I don't have it drawn out, but I could very easily. I mean, you're talking about maybe it comes down to 85. I don't know if it's going to stop at 92. There's going to be a big liquidity event when this happens. I still think we have to be very cautious here because I think Bitcoin could drop like $8,000 in like 2 seconds here. Not literally, it's going to take 2 seconds, but I think it's on the verge of filling out a very unfortunate flag here, and it hasn't given us anything. That's 9%. That would mean another 9% continuation, roughly. That's like 86K. It looks like ass. If I was you sitting there in the abyss, I wouldn't do anything. I would sit here and go, you know what? Let this fill out. Let this fill out. This guy sounds like an idiot, but maybe he does know what he's talking about because I don't want to believe him. But look, even this happening for Bitcoin with these small movements, we're overbought now in the small time frames that tell us we're going to catch up in the higher time frames. Like this just is horse manure. Those lower time frames just gave us the ability to drop another 4 to 8% easily. Oh, this is going to suck if it happens. And the problem is for a lot of people, and it's what I said from the beginning, especially in January, and it's not, I don't want to go, hey, I said this. That's not the point of it. The point of it is I've been preparing for this so you can trust what I'm saying. This is all the way back 10 months ago. See, I said why I sold 75% of my crypto and turned focus to gold and silver and mining stocks. That was because it was a transformational flip. And the only reason I even had 25% left is because I kept those 10,000 XRP and then whatever I decided to keep of XRP Healthcare at the time after it went up from 1.7 to almost 50 cents. So a lot of it got from 1.7 to almost 50 cents. So a lot. But so we have that. So I've been preparing for this time right now since then. And now I can tell you, we need this last drop, and then all of a sudden, the whole game changes. Now, when we can take some profits, how we did out of mining stocks, even though we have a large amount in there still, just afforded a nice amount of profits and still kept a huge portfolio to get ready for the black gold, which is oil, to get ready for the oil exploration ones, because that's going to be a transitional flip in mid-26. So we've got to keep our eyes open for the next few months. But now crypto, when I felt like that back in January, I don't feel like that right now. I've been preparing for, like I said, when everybody was telling everybody to buy the dip when it was way up, and I said, guys, you don't even need to do anything right now. Just wait. It's the wrong time. Now you're going to get into I'm going to buy the dip. And it's not the dip. All you're doing is thinking it's the dip because the price went up so high in comparison to where it was at. It's human nature to think, oh, it came down 40%, I'm buying the dip. But it's not the dip. You're buying 40% retracement of the big pump. That's not a dip. Your exit liquidity. And you continue to be until you find a new floor. And we haven't found that floor yet since January. I hate to break it to everybody, but we haven't. We might have on that big corrective drop. But until that drop, you didn't even have to buy. That was when I said, my God, it was so funny. I wish everybody was here, the way our community did it. But literally, I think it was 45 minutes before the drop. I showed the exact drop for Bitcoin, but for the days leading to it, I said, go liquid. This is where you need to have all your liquidity on the sidelines. And I didn't. It just depends where you buy too, though. It's up to you. But it was just everybody was buying it so high. It always happens. It's human nature. Everything's running. You want to buy it. I get it. I used to do that all the time. All the time. It is. It's human nature. But now we can learn from all of that. And what did we learn? Well, even though it's not at our spot and we've had these run-ups this weekend and it might be tempting, I'm not doing nothing until Bitcoin fills that gap. I promise you, I'm not doing anything until Bitcoin does that. If it doesn't, it's just like what I talked about XRP at the beginning of the year. Until it fills the $1.50 gap, it can come down there. I don't care how high it goes. It just means it's coming down that much farther. And then we came down and filled that finally on that historic liquidation. So I breathe a lot easier now. Matteo says, we get a little rally Q2 or Q3 26 with QE. Should be before that. It shouldn't take for the initial rally until Q2 or 3. I think we're going to get a nice boost at that point. But I think it's going to start. I think it's going to start before that. Personally, I don't know if it's going to be the parabolic spike we want, but the problem is a lot of people are going to sit here and say this isn't a big rally because they didn't buy it at the right spot. Imagine if you sat here on that historic liquidation, you literally have XRP at $1.30, and you have IOTA at 8.5 cents, and you have Algo at 10 cents, and you have, what I'm saying? And you have all of these from those prices. Even with all of this drop, you're fine. You bought it for everybody who's pissed off right now is saying it's over. If somebody says it's over, it's only because they bought it before. They're backwards. I told you, when you get into trading and you're off track, you're always going to be wrong. That's why you can't long and short at the same time. Because once you're on the wrong cycle, it's over. Your mind thinks different. It does. My mind is weird. I think of projections. I think of analytics. I think of no matter what I do, even if I'm walking down the street, my mind's like a freaking robot. It drives me nuts because it feels like the Terminator. But I'm always doing projections in my head. If I do this, this is the way the scenario can play out. No matter if I'm walking down the street, I have 55 different scenarios playing in my head. So then it's almost like the Matrix. So then if something goes out of whack, I immediately go to that scenario and I prepare as if that's what's going to happen. It's not always the best thing. I do it in the charts too. That's why you see me. I have so many different charts of the same thing for XRP because that's what we focus on, but on everything else too. But I'm always thinking of all the variables. So once it takes a certain round, I'm like, oh, it's over. That's why I can make a quick cut and run decision all the time, because I've already played I played the scenarios out, and it's one of my greatest. I don't know if it's a weakness or if it's a strength. I've been doing it since I was a little kid, but I would always look at every scenario. And then sometimes you overanalyze because you're thinking of everything at once and it's like, oh my God, I'm going to have an overload. So, but that's what I'm always doing. It's always a constant freaking variable in my head, a constant projection. And I can see it. Like I'm looking at the screen, but I see it in front of me what I'm talking about. It's so weird. So now sometimes you'll see like my eyes, I kind of wander, but that's what happens. So I'm in deep thought right now because I can see. It's like it's so clear what's going to happen. And it needs to happen. If it doesn't happen, then I go to the other, just please let it happen. That's how I get to these points. Like, just let it happen. Just let this happen. It's okay. We got the topping reversal. We got a little shoulder, double top. Maybe this is the shoulder up here. Maybe we can fall down, reset. If we come to $1.99 in Bitcoin, oh God, please. I just want it to happen. Just let it happen. 74 likes. So a lot of people don't want to let it happen. If you want this to happen, hit the like button. Can we get to 100 likes with 136 people watching? I think maybe we could. Now we had a gifted sub, maybe two. Joseph Euler, thanks for being in town under 6+ months with the XP Predictor. And also gifting a sub. How awesome is that? Alpha, congratulations on getting your first month gifted sub with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. That is awesome. John Sampson, member for 53 months now. Holy Toledo. As he's in Tom's Army for over 4 years with the XRP Phoenix badge. I can't wait until the 5-year badge that you see right in front of you already, the Destructive badge. That's the Destruction badge. Who would have thought XLM would be so close to 22, eyeing 14, but do you think a catastrophic liquidation can happen to 0.02? If it happens to 0.02, my friend, that's because XRP has found itself to everything's clearing out the December of 2020 gap, especially XRP, but nobody wants to know about that, Mr. Sampson. That would be the 10.2 or 10.4 cent XRP. Do I think it's going to happen? Well, not necessarily, because if it happens, we're going into it could be a multi-decade bear market, let alone a multi-year bear market. I would say hopefully 23.9 cents is the floor at this point, as you know. We've talked about this. John didn't just come to this by accident. He actually knows the chart. So when he said 22 or whatever, he knows what he's talking about. Because that's if this continues to ride down. It could get right to 22 if it takes until the end of November. But in real time, 23.5. But that's a very real setup right there, in my opinion. And it's been in a little channel. It's legitimately been in this channel, but it's only hit twice on 2 big. So we'll see. Actually, I guess you could say 3. What am I talking about? We could technically move this up and give it grace. I don't want to give it grace, though. I would like to not give it grace. We'll just say it held. Anyhow. Do I think it could come down? If it does, it's over. If it comes down as far as you're talking about, we might as well just pack it in. That means crypto would have packed the bags and just left the building. For the record, if it goes to where John wants, as much as I would love 2 cent XLM, it's over. And the reason I say that is you break, John. Be careful what you wish for, sir. But you break. Let me see the all-time structure here. Because I believe you would break the all-time structure. And if you do, you never want to do that. No, I think this is pretty accurate with how I have it, to be honest with you. Even if you go all the way back in time, I think that's pretty accurate. Even if you did, I don't want to do like that. It's not accurate like that. Hold on. We'll be able to live with that to that. Because we don't have to hit where it broke out right there. I don't have to do that. I can go to the wick. I don't have to engage this because we're not right. Well, maybe we should engage that. That is an action point of the pattern. Fuck. All right, we'll engage that. Otherwise, it's not. Okay, so John, and this is being as frank as I can be, good friend. If we come below that 9.8 cents, we invalidate the entirety of this up track. Not just that, we take out a pattern that we've been building. And just that's why we don't really want to come below 17. Maybe we do come to the uptrend at 10 and we don't invalidate. But you're talking about something we've been setting up since 2018. Does anybody want to invalidate that structure that we've set up since 2018? I would think not. I would think not, because if we do, we're screwed. That would mean we're going into a multi-generational bear market. Like, crypto might be over. There's a scenario where it breaks structure, but still macro bullish. Yes. But that would be the quick buy up of the wick, where you would get one of these, which you've seen kind of for XRP. Like, you would go, like, you would need to legitimately clear this entire thing out and have one of those quick V, like literal, and then you're back in it, and then it's just out. You can do stuff like that, but do you really want to take that chance, John? Do you really want to take that chance? I don't want to take that chance, because I don't want to go into a multi. Do you know how boring this is going to be if I got to go back into the ultimate bear market like we were in for 3 freaking years? It was fun because we got to do FOMO Fridays and all this other good stuff. Winning Wednesdays, Motivated Mondays, Thursdays, tasty or testicular Tuesday, technical Tuesdays. I don't remember what we settled on. Temptress Thursdays. I don't remember. We had a couple different ideas. But Winning Wednesdays and FOMO Fridays was the big part of it. But look, does this look good? Does that weekly candle look good to anybody? It closes in 8 hours, and that's an engulfing candle to the downside, and it's not moved back up. John, if I entertained all of that you're talking about right now, you're still applying normal rules. This crypto, we could have a month where they turn the lights off and on capitulation, then whale party. I could also sit on the toilet and shit out gold one day. But the odds of it happening and the lights just turning out, to me, it's mind-boggling that if that happens for the general public, the lights will never get turned back on is the problem. You know, if that happens, we're already screwed. We got bigger problems than. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm applying the reality for me that we don't have this cataclysmic collapse out of some bullshit like our power going out and all that. You know, I don't want that to happen. But yes, you're right. Something crazy could happen. But if that happens, we got bigger problems on our plate. Like, I'm going to be worrying about all my essentials in my house once that happens. Or if I feel like that's going to happen, well, I've already started with that. Market looks like it's getting ready for a downturn. Like, it looks like it's setting up. Is there some kind of news that's coming out today? Out of curiosity? I'm being serious. Is there some kind of news that's about to come out? Because it looks like the whole market's about to drop. Is there news coming out? Does anybody know? Are we about to get news? Is Trump about to talk or something? Something stupid? Is something stupid about to happen? I got a bad feeling the market's setting up for like a drop. That's interesting. Like, it makes it feel like we're going to get some news. Like, technically, Epic may be putting in the sell signal if you're in that channel. Remember what I said? If you're riding that channel, you got to wait for this rejection. I think it might be giving us that rejection, which means if you did that and it actually breaks down, you'll be able to buy it probably at least a good 10 to 15% cheaper. Maybe it'll ride back down to this wick now and fill this out at 47. Are they really talking about that's Project Bluebeam? Oh, fuck, I forgot. We're almost into that. I'm telling you, this is reeking of a crash here, guys. Get ready. And if it goes up, no problem. But get some cash to the sidelines. Get some cash to the sidelines if you can. The charts, and it very well might go up from here, but where we're at right now, it feels like we're going to finish off this drop. Something's not right. The way these all set up all of a sudden here over the weekend, this doesn't seem right. Unless we get an influx of volume. They're going to announce something. Something's not right here. I'm telling you, this doesn't feel right. The way I didn't even realize they were setting up like this until just now at this pace. This doesn't feel right. I think we're going to get some kind of weird news today. I think there's going to be some kind of weird news. I got to convince myself. Let me keep looking at these. Fuck, we're really going to get some weird news because the charts predict the news. The charts are telling, look at that bearish 4-hour candle here and then go, oh, fuck. I feel like, and maybe we are going to get some weird news today. Yeah, because we're due for a drop. I think everything's speaking to this right now. And then when everybody's caught up in the firestorm, they always tell you to hunt the. Oh my God. How far would 17% be? See, something's coming out. It's going to have to. I think maybe that's. Holy fuck. Hey, I never said I don't like coming live when we come to realizations. That doesn't mean we can't go up first. I'm just saying it feels like you got to have some cash on the sideline here. Minimum $1.99 for XRP if this plays out, but I'm still targeting. I could still see that $1.77 to $1.82 zone, but $1.99 would be a good start for XRP because this is all aiming to the down. And like I said, unless we get a market-wide volume crunch, that's at least a 10 to 12% drop for XRP. Now, if it comes to that $1.77 to $1.82, you're talking, see, there's that 17%. I'm just saying I would have some cash to the sideline right now. I'd be taking a serious look at what's going on. Something's wrong. No, this isn't because of Epstein. This is different. Epstein, that's all. Notice, Epstein's the distraction right now. That's a distraction. Most of that's all bullshit anyhow. They're not telling you the truth anyhow. This is different. I'm telling you, this is something different on a bigger scale. This is a bigger scale. Something bigger is going on right now. That's the truth. What's Linnea look like? Yeah, I'm going to probably step out of the way of this too and take a little loss on Linnea so that I can buy more. I'm just going to play it the way I would play my my trade. So if you want to be part of the Linnea trade when I buy back in, please join us on TOOBIT because I got a bad feeling about this. And I would rather this go up and be wrong and be prepared. Something's not right here. I'm telling you right now, this is not right. Yeah, I'm going to close that trade. I hate doing it because I didn't think I would. Let me just keep losing my money, guys. But I'm preparing for the next leg down now. We haven't had the drop. We had a little bit of a rebound. That's all I can do. I just feel like this is profoundly wrong what's happening right now. I feel like something's going to happen. The last time the charts lined up like this, we had it was a catastrophic drop. And then it ended up rebounding. Who knows? Maybe it does go up from here. I don't know. I get a profound feeling. Because that looks like a big bear flag. Does it not? That looks like a big bear flag. Look at that. This is like a prototypical bear flag. Like if that plays out like this, oh man. Come back to the top of that channel. That looks like a bear flag. It's in the files. Tom, read my post. I gotta go. Are you talking about like the Project Bluebeam with the aliens is in the files or? Hey, Tom, thanks for your hard work and dedication. Venezuela conflict about to escalate. Yep, something's going on. So I'm going to take the route of I'm going to liquidate some of my stuff. I hate that I had to close the copy trade, but there's a bunch of people that were messaging me about their trade didn't open. I'm going to tell you one last time. The reason it's not opening is because 25 of you have followed me on TOOBIT. But only 11 of you actually hit the subscribe button to follow my trade, to actually be in the trade with me. You have to hit the subscribe button. You can't just hit follow. So 14 of you are following. There's 25 people have hearted it. Only 11 actually hit the subscribe. But I guess that's a good thing because you saved yourself some money. But now it's on to the next point. I'm gonna watch this from the sidelines, and if it goes up, guys, that's just the way it goes. You know, sometimes it doesn't pan out the way you think. You know, but you got to make the plans for what you see. Like everything I see right now is telling me, Tom, your gut knows what it's talking about, and something bad's happening. Like I got to sell IOTA. It fell below that point. Remember my sell point? So technically, if I just follow my trend, even though it's an inverse possible head and shoulders and it could cost me. Oh man, this is brutal. What's happening? It's all they're all. Yeah, because I think it's going to come down here if it gets rejected. That it would fill back down here like we're trying to fill this out possibly. And now in real time, I mean, look at this. Fucking Amy. Oh yeah, this can go either way. Oh, I don't know if it's time to get out. I don't know. I'm just saying if this goes to the down direction. Now there's no guarantee it will. Now we're extremely oversold in the weekly, the daily. But it does seem to me that we're setting up for that next leg down. I can't really point a chart out that's not below areas of concern. 2 hourly death cross getting rejected here. This would be one of those cases. If it does break down, it would be quick. Like we would get a quick 15, 20% across. This wouldn't be a 2% drop if this happens. That's the problem. If this happens, because it's already been consolidating for so long, I mean, you're pretty much, we can see 17%, pretty much 15, 17%. Oh, I'm not saying you have to sell. You can very much hold through this. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying you have to. I prefer for everybody to have a little bit of cash on the sideline in case it breaks down. There's no guarantee it's breaking down. But if Ethereum breaks down, I'm targeting 2,883-ish. So, and that looks like a head and shoulders right there. That needs to finish playing. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't want to break anybody's hearts. It just, oh man. It just looks like we're going to break down real hard. And like I said yesterday, that was a great opportunity if you were in XDC with this movement to, if you want to get out of it before a drop and then you want to try again if we have this big drop, because XDC, if it breaks down, it's pointing to that 475. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not going to tell everybody, hey, I sold everything, but I'm telling you, get some money on the sidelines is the best I can say. So you can take that for what it's worth. You can take that for what it's worth. And I hate everything about this, but if it goes the other way, because of the instability of the market, it's one of those things where now you can condense your stuff even farther. You can figure out exactly what this is a good time to figure out what you actually want to hold. Let's just put it that way. It's a good time to figure out what you're willing to have or what you want to buy, because the best time to prepare for something like this is if we have a big drop. And I don't know if it's going to play through. I don't know how this is going to play out, but I can tell you Michael Saylor moved 43,000 Bitcoin over the last couple of days to 100 different wallets. So I don't know, man. This whole thing does not feel right. It feels like the charts are getting ready for some big news to come out. And it doesn't really matter what I point to. All of these have this. Unless this is one grand fake out. Unless it's one grand fake out. I don't know what to say, to be honest with you. I really don't. Unless this is the biggest fake out and grand deception in history. Yeah, but look at Zach at some point. I'm not a rocket scientist, but when you get into these levels, someone's going to get fucking bent over the railing with Zach. At some point, this is going to not keep going up. I mean, it's telling you right now that it's about as overbought as it's going to possibly get. Hopefully, you know, that's eventually going to end up rewriting itself. They always do. Who knows what the level is going to be? That's the question I can't answer because it could very well keep going up. Oh, maybe that's an ultimate short opportunity. You know, you can look at that either way. But yeah, I don't have enough. I don't look at that chart enough to put a lot of stock into it. I gotta put stock. No offense, Scotty. Trades are the ones that I pay attention to every day. Like SHX is breaking itself down, and look how it had this quick liquidation up to the top side, which is generally a good indicator of what's coming. They do that a lot. We had that over yesterday. That's when that happened yesterday. I'm like, oh fuck. Like, why does it have to happen yesterday? Yeah, I'm just gonna have a lot of money on the sidelines. That's all I'm gonna say. Got a lot of money on the sidelines. And I'm gonna prepare for, and if it goes up, I can prepare accordingly, but I feel like it's time to prepare. I gotta prepare. I gotta trust my instinct. So I'm prepared. I got hella money on the sidelines, unfortunately. And we'll take it from there. And then, you know, I'll keep updating everybody on the perspective here. It's just we've gotten to a very dangerous level, and you know, it feels like we got no choice. I hope I'm wrong, actually, to be honest with you. This is one of those cases where I hope I'm wrong. I mean, if I'm right, it's gonna pay off in a big way for all of us because we'll be able to buy cheap and we'll be able to do some stuff. But if I'm right, I mean, if I'm wrong, it's gonna help, I think, more people that are not wanting to see this go down. So personally, oh no, I think the best thing I can say is it's going to be a fun ride either way. Because if we do fall here, once we get to the bottom, it's going to be fun. You know, and if we prepare properly, and if, you know, even if, I think this is the other thing, even if you're in something, if you have capital on the sideline, maybe you make sure you have a little more capital, right? Maybe you have a little more capital if we do have this drop. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a little more capital on the sidelines. If it's a fear moment. But in extreme fear, generally, this is where they snap your neck. And then when everybody's on the ground convulsing, that's when the deals are made. That's why I think this next drop, if it happens, and we never know if it's going to, if it happens, if this plays out in that fashion, this is where a lot of money can be made. But you got to have money on the sideline. So that doesn't mean sell your position. It just, I can't tell you what to do. That's the problem. I'm not a financial advisor. You know, it's not my decision to make. You know, only you can decide this. Only you can decide this. And it's the truth. Only we can individually decide what we want to do with our portfolio. But there's something about to come out, and it scares the hell out of me. Not for the charts. I just feel like there's something bad coming out in the world, and it scares me really bad because I've been preparing for this for a while. Frankie Fresh says, Tom, if you're down 40 to 50 on some alts, do you cut your losses or hold and pray to get some capital? That's impossible for me to answer. That's got to be that's a soul searching answer that you got to answer yourself, honestly. That's why that's a tough question. You're hoping at this point that we just reverse. It's a tough question. It's not guaranteed it's going to go down, guys. Like, we can reverse here very easily. Just some of the stuff is pointing to the direction of not so friendly. That's all. That's all I'm saying. But it's nothing different than I've been saying for a little while. Breaking Ethiopia confirms its first Marburg outbreak. 9 cases, no cure, no vaccine, 50% fatality. World Health Organization scrambling to contain it as the Ebola-like virus shows rapid deadly spread. Oh man, I know something bad's happening. The charts don't lie. Like this is one of the things I try to explain to the audience if you watch. I don't get afraid for my portfolio. I get afraid because when the charts are universally speaking of something bad, there's a reason why. And then if we start to see but if you see like a 20% drop from here, that would be a good time to maybe Scotty Trades. Would you agree if we got a 20% drop here across the market, that it would be a great time to probably look at buying and probably sniffing a quick bottom? But this isn't going to be slow if it happens. I'm gonna go pee real quick. I gotta think my thoughts real quick before I say the next part. No, for fuck's sake. Sit down in Bitcoin didn't even hold 95. I had a feeling something was gonna happen quick. So mid-November and again nothing. PNR keep up. There is something. It's showing you direction, friend. I see a lot of those kind of comments like, "Hey, it's mid-November. It hasn't done anything." Well, okay, if that's your interpretation of what's going on right now, it's actually doing a lot for the grand pattern. That is. But some of these things, see, like I said with Epic, it broke that area. It starts to go quick. That was my point. That's why I said that's your moment. If you're going to sell, that's why we had that chart like that. Because once it breaks that and gets rejected like it did I not talk about that right when it was right here on that candle? When it was at the rejection? Now we'll see. This is where we're going to see if this is the start of something or if it can pull up and reverse out. This is literally that point in the chart. On everything. It's not just Epic. It's not just XPR. It's everything. Like now all of a sudden IOTA slipped under 13 cents. Algo's on the verge of slipping below 16. Like this, these can get quick because they're at these rejection. It's not everything is there. That looks like another, if this breaks down, this is going to bring you all the way back down. They're all in that same spot. We're under key levels. That's the problem right now. Oh yeah, this has been talked about for a while. Yeah, you're going to get some coins that are going to go up. You always get, I call them the deceiver coins when the market starts going down, because then you start to buy everything thinking the whole market's about to do the same thing. It happens a lot. But hopefully this is just a fake out. Maybe this is just a fake out and then we come roaring back up here. So that would be the perspective. I still think Bitcoin has eyes for that 92.4 at best. Maybe at worst we do fall out and we go way down. Mike says, Mike Osmel says, here we are all once again. The only difference in XRP and my wife is that XRP actually goes down on me before it takes my money. I love this guy. Mike, that's awesome. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I love it. Man, Bitcoin's really just starting to take that downward track now, isn't it? Um, It's getting ugly. It's starting to get ugly. How ugly is this going to get? Where would SHX go if this falls out? It already showed us a low wick, too. I'm sorry. I can hardly even focus on the charts right now because my body is shaking. Because I know if this falls off, it's a bigger implication of something that's being announced. So I don't necessarily, this is one of those rare times where I don't really want it to do what I'm thinking. Because that means the big news is coming out. And look where we're at. Have they announced anything on Atlas? Are you guys being serious about the alien stuff on the news? I don't know. I don't watch the news. But like, are the aliens talk really going on right now? Like what's really going on? Oh, wait a minute. I got to do Atlas. Now we'll see. We'll see. Jobs data comes out Thursday. Rich, that'll be interesting on Thursday. We gotta get there. We're gonna have to get to Thursday. I'll be curious because the crypto fear and greed index, I think when it comes out later, what do we got now? 8 hours and 45 minutes. I think it's gonna go down into the single digits. September, oh, it's probably gonna be brutal if it's September's job data. Unfortunately. But XRP took out the low from yesterday. This is bad. This is where we can get that quick drop on the whole market. It's what we talked about yesterday. It's just continuously building down. And, you know, once it ends up going here, when it made those artificial rises up, it gave us all the leverage in the 4-hourly to push down like this and the 2-hourly. It gave us the leverage. The daily's pushing down and cooking to the downside. Like, this is not good. The lack of volume on the buyback is not good. You know, so we got to wait for some kind of spot. I don't know. Maybe it happens now. Maybe who the fuck knows? But I'm waiting for Bitcoin for that 92,400 to tell me something. It's got $2,000 to go. It's dropped about $1,000 since we started this live. And it's got it's 1/3 of the way there. But I mean, the worst thing it can do is just keep going up and then coming back down because it's going to force us into a even worse hand. That's what I don't want. I don't want this to get worse. I want it to actually do what it needs to do. Like if it eats this all up right now, pushes up, gets everybody excited, well, now we got another problem because it's not doing what it needs. It's not doing its job. The best case scenario would have been over the weekend. It went down to 92.4 while the futures market was offline. And then it could work its way back up to 94.3, but then it could have closed the fair value gap while simultaneously having the CME gap over the top. So that can still happen. We've still got time before that comes, what, 7 hours maybe, before the CME comes back on. So there's ways that this can happen in a good favorable way. It is remarkable though how fast once it starts to like the whole market just all of a sudden they all feel the same. I mean, look, it's how can anybody even fathom that this doesn't happen on a trading algorithm? How every single thing at the same time, besides the deceivers, there's always a deceiver so that you get tempted to buy something during a big crash. But now Ethereum's under 3,100. If this takes this next drop here, you're going to see a quick 5% real quick across the board. Let's see where we're sitting with USDT. Still continues that climb because it has that bullish push. This is where more people are going into the stable coin, which means that they're preparing for a collapse. I think the crypto. Scotty trades. I've been trying to warn about this. Scotty's been trying to warn about that up to the 8%. Once it breaks past, and we broke past this I know we're very overbought, but the monthly still got plenty of room to push up. It's very bullish. That's a nice inverse head and shoulders breaking out as we speak. So that means a lot of people are taking their money out of tokens and putting it in the stable. That means they're preparing for a drop and re-entry at some point. That's all that means. There's too much money that's almost like when Bitcoin dominance goes up, you're like, oh, there's not enough money going in the alts. Well, when the USDT is going up, a lot of money's coming out of the actual independent sector. So that's what we got to see. We got to see if we get some kind of quick reversal. That's the one thing that's on my mind. Could the market have a quick reversal? Could this all be a fake out? It could. It very well could be. So what does everybody think? What does everybody think? We'll look at the, let's see what the total crypto market cap is telling us. Down about, oh, not even 1%, but it did break outside of this area. Ooh, that's not good. That means it's aiming towards, I think we're coming down here. It broke outside of this. That's almost like its own rising wedge. It makes it look like we want to come down to 2.52 trillion at the first stop, is what it makes it seem like. What about the total 3? And the total 3 is everything besides Bitcoin and Ethereum. This made a bearish cross as well in the monthly and the stochastic. Let's see what it's looking at here. I mean, you got the death cross here, you got the rejection. Could it come to 844 maybe hold? If it comes down, would it hold 880? Or now all of a sudden we start going down to the lower levels. And if we do, now all of a sudden we got to come hunt this wick. So, I mean, there's a lot of bad it's lining up. That looks ugly. This looks ugly. If it would have broke out, we could have went up there. But obviously, it seems like it's taking the path back down. So if that's a rejection there, even for the others, which is everything outside the top 10 of cryptocurrency, it looks like it wants to come back down to this channel. It's one of those buy, support, sell, resistance, buy, support, sell, resistance until it breaks. This is actually probably supposed to be like this. Sometimes when I look at my phone, it moves it up and down. But anyhow, and that doesn't necessarily look that great either. Yes, that's what I'd like to see, Scott. I'd like to see that gap fill on Bitcoin and hold. That's exactly what I would like to see. And I think that's what we're all waiting for, to see if it can hold that area. Otherwise, then we have to deal with the bigger rising wedge. And that, I think that's what I think that's what we're all trying to see validity here. Is that rising wedge going to break down? And because it's already below it. And can that fair value gap be the new defining support at 92,400 and some change? That's exactly what we're all looking for. We really want to know. But until we come down there, we can't know, and it sucks. Because then it's always in the back of our head. But now, we could get this big eat up too here. That's the other thing. Maybe we eat up the volume and we get a quick reversal. That's the other thing that can happen here. And then we still have this open, and then the market starts to look a little green for a minute. Everybody just got to make a decision with what they want to do. I don't know what the right decision is here, honestly. I just know I got some money on the sidelines just in case. And then if it makes a drop, I can further develop a plan that I have. So that's all I can do. The precaution is have some money on the sideline. And then if it does come down, we can fill something. If it goes up, obviously then you'll make some money if you're in the positions. But this is a very dangerous area we're in. It makes me very nervous. Like I said, it's not necessarily for the market. I think it's more for what's about to be announced. We're getting into that time period, and some of the audience is wise to it. So, I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about. I think that's why I watch the chart so much. Not even necessarily for the crypto and all this anymore, gold and silver, because I've figured out that it decodes the news. Like the news is based around the chart. So the gap is right around 92,400 and some change. Oh, I think there should be a spike before the end of the year, but we've got to, in order for that to happen, we got to come fill this. That's the only way about this. And we could get a fake out up, but unless this gets filled, we're stuck in the shit zone. Like, you don't want to be stuck in the shit zone when you're trying to make a purchase. You want to be in an area of volatility that makes sense. To buy right now doesn't make sense because you're not at any real area. This is just in the middle of two bad zones. You're in between a breakdown out of a rising wedge around 100K. It's like 99,800. And between that resistance and the support right now, the fair value gap that you don't even know is support yet unless it holds at 92,400 and some change. That's being in a shit zone. You don't want to buy the shit zone. Either buy when it's over 100,000 and it retakes that rising wedge, or wait until it proves that support at 92.4. Otherwise, you could be holding all the way down to a breakdown. An XRP decouple would rock. No, it's following Bitcoin, but right now we have a very strong area that we need to come down to for XRP at $1.99 at minimum. So we're kind of stuck in a weird, you know what I mean, W? We're stuck in a weird spot. So I'm looking at it like, if you wanted to buy, make sure we get back over that rising wedge. Otherwise, let it play out to the bottom of that gap, the fair value gap. It makes sense. And not a lot of people know about these gaps because they don't understand when they're trading that these exist, and it's not their fault. They're just not aware. Maybe it is your fault. And it was my fault when I first started trading, not understanding this, but I didn't even know about it. So sometimes when you don't know about it, you're not even aware that it exists. Like you're not aware of it when you first start. But now if you come across it and you hear it and stuff like that. Oh, Michael Saylor. Oh, God. And like I said, it's so weird that he's touting Bitcoin and everybody acts like this is a good deal. He was up 27% as of yesterday, which has come down a little bit. Think about that. He could have put all those billions in gold and silver, and he could sell out at any moment, all of it, and it's not even going to shake the price. If he tries to sell out anything of Bitcoin, the price goes, he can't, oh man. But the fact that they moved 43,000 Bitcoin roughly to 100, I don't understand the 100 different wallets. That's why I'm a little, skeptical, like that he isn't selling. Like, why would you move him to 100 wallets? I could understand moving it to a wallet or two, but 100? That means he's trying to have a layer of deception, in my opinion. Oh, he's making personal deals to people where they're buying his Bitcoin and it's not looking like it on the exchange. That's what I think happens. These big guys, they send him to all these wallets. These are people off the exchange that want to buy the Bitcoin, and he sells it for money, but he can't sell it on the exchange or it collapses the price. So he's got to find people to buy it from him instead of the. I feel like that goes on more in crypto than not. Couldn't you see that happening? But think about it. Like everybody told me Evernorth already made the purchase of XRP, and I disagreed. Yeah, maybe they made a small amount, but I believe that they're waiting for the price to drop because they all are in the know. So it would make sense. The ETF comes out, XRP's price drops 20-30%. All of those go down, the XRPN, XRPNU, XRPNW, XRPC. They all start going down by 30-35%. I could see that, and that's when I'm going to take advantage of all those too. Buy and hold, but buy at the right spot. Don't just be buying to buy. Um, in the desert, sell sand, and people are buying it. That's a good point. That's a good point. But like, I can't necessarily even put limit orders in right now. Like, I see people are putting limit orders, which is good, but I don't know. I don't know if it actually holds 92.4. That's what we got to see if we even come down there. But it does seem to me that we're transcending to that area, doesn't it? Kind of feels like that. And we're having this slow, like, crawl down. I like that everybody's sticking around watching this with me a little bit longer this morning. Thank you very much. Black Friday is coming. Bitcoin down about $1,100 on the day, pretty much right around the CME right now. This does have the feel of like we're just. What's this phone call? Oh, my mom. Hold on. Hi, mom. Hello.
Hi, baby.
Hi. Can you hear me, mom?
Shit, I can't hear you. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
I'll call you back.
Yeah, hold on. Hold on, everybody. I got to get my earphones so my mom can hear me. I'll be right back. I'm not going nowhere. I got to finish this. Almost done, dude. My mom's calling. Hi, mom. No, I didn't have my headset. Okay, yeah, we'll put it in the video. I'll just make sure. All right, TT's happy. He heard that you're coming over. He's excited. Yes, you could hear me talking. All right. For anybody who stuck around, I appreciate it. Let's see. We're at 94,343. So now we're starting to do something. Let's see. Let's see if this finishes it off. Mike B, thanks for gifting a membership and also being in Tom's number 3+ months with the X-Free Meteor. Give some membership. And it goes, the Patriots United received a gifted membership by Mike B. Congratulations, Patriots United. When mom calls, you take the call. Yes, you do, Scott. Yes, you do. My mom said that she's coming over a couple hours from now, I think. That's what it sounded like. I'm smoking. I got 2,500 XRP. 3 XP ETFs are supposed to happen this week. Yep. And a lot of people think that's initially bullish when you get ETF announcements, but historically the price will drop 20 to 30 to 40. It just depends percentage wise. It's the truth. You got to remember when you have an ETF, the ETFs, they got to buy those tokens. So they want to buy them cheaper when they come online. That's how I look at it. We're at that point right now that if Bitcoin loses 94 and then we start slipping down, this is where you would get an interesting drop. I'm waiting to, like, right now, SHX is the one down 5%. Oh, wait a minute. Epic's now down 5.7, so it overtook that. Healthcare has almost reversed that entire gain, which it's not going to be able to run by itself. Even if it wanted, it's not going to be able to do this by its. Nothing will be able to. If the market does turn down, they'll just come down after. Whereas Algo's down about 3% now. IOTA's down 3.45%. Ethereum's down 2.5, under 3,100 again. Bitcoin down 1.36, holding on to 94,000 by a hair. XRP's now slipped below yesterday's low. It's at 217.6, which I don't think is a surprise for anybody. We're looking for this $1.99. Well, in real time, if it comes down here, it's actually like $1.97 based on where it looks because it's Sunday still. So that's what I'm looking at. And it's got plenty of room to do this. Every time frame, it's got a lot of room here to push down farther. Like Stochastic's telling us, we got plenty of room. That push up yesterday was a disaster when it made that little move up. What happens when all these companies buy when it's cheap? Um, Essentially when they find their spot, they can wait for the shuffling to continue, and then if it comes down a little bit more, they're willing to buy a little bit more. But generally, you start to bottom out after this stuff happens. So, like I said, with XRPC, I expect to see that come down some 20-30% from the top. I expect to see XRPNU, XRPN, and XRPNW down 30 to 50% from where they opened to us. And, they've already rotated down a decent amount, some of them, but not anywhere near where I think they're going to go. And this would be a direct reflection on the movement in the market. So it all lined up for this. We don't have quantitative tightening ending until December 1st. It's the fake illusion of a hawkish Fed, which is what you want. Like I said, we want to have a drop before we get the next rate cut because then it won't be baked in. People are actually suggesting that they would hike rates, which I still find implausible, but who knows? Maybe the government would do that. It doesn't seem plausible to me. Mr. Carter, welcome in. Tony Carter, hashtag mother second choice, M2C. I love seeing you in here. And Tom's Armory for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. A beautiful soul. And the Outback somewhere. I hope you're staying safe, my friend. Hope you're staying safe. Say he's my Australian brother from another mother. Feels like that. No, I think this is all good. I think this is all good. 1970 legend, welcome in our resident Buckeye from down in near Columbus. As they continue to dominate yesterday, easily the number one team in the country, defending champs. Michigan, on the other hand, struggled against Purdue, had to win on a last-second field goal. First time since 2010 that Michigan won a game where they had 5 turnovers and committed 4-0, so we were very lucky. But our slim college football playoff chances are still alive because if we beat Ohio State and Maryland, we're in. They won't leave a 10-2 Michigan team out that beats the number one team. They just won't. It won't happen. That's the cool thing about being Michigan or Ohio State. Like you've seen with Ohio State, they're not keeping them out. If they have any pulse, they're putting them in, especially in a 14-team playoff. But anyhow, I digress. Appreciate that, Mr. Carter. Some of you don't know, but he sent me some music that I've got to try to get off of my other tablet because for some reason it didn't send over to this one. That's the only reason I don't play it anymore. It's his own personal music. He allowed me to play it. No copyright stuff or anything, but I always shared the ad revenue every time I would play that segment. Not that it would be anything more than a couple dollars, but great music. Great music. But yeah, we're basically watching this bounce around. I mean, unfortunately, this isn't a surprise to the community. We've just been waiting for this. It's like sometimes you're just waiting. Bitcoin dominance, if it does break down, it just depends if it comes out. It really does. It came up perfectly to that resistance. Now, if it drops down here, and the problem is that doesn't mean necessarily, that it's losing anything, but right now you can see it's got this little reversal because the altcoins are falling faster. At a certain point, this is all going to flip. But I feel like, remember when we say people are at that rope now, they're at their wits end, like, I can't do this no more. I got no money. I'd rather just sell out this is another point where people are going to start selling out at a loss, like a big loss. I'm not talking about, bought in, you're trying to reposition for the drop and just buy right back in. I'm talking about people that are down 60, 70% might be willing to take the loss now and just say, I'm done. I can't keep doing this. That's what we want. Rich says not beating Ohio State. That's what they said last year, too, when we were 21.5-point underdogs at Columbus and we had a quarterback with no arms and legs. But how'd that work out? In that rivalry, it doesn't matter. You can't say you're never going to win. We still have the number one recruit at quarterback. I'm just saying, we still have a team. The only problem is now we lost not only our number one running back, Justice Hayes, a couple weeks ago, but now we lost, unfortunately, Jordan Marshall yesterday, and he was averaging 147 yards a game in the last 4. Yeah, he did. I don't know if he broke his shoulder or what, but he is not in there anymore. But, you know, we'll see what happens. They got to play the game. Got to play the game. But, yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. No, Scotty trades, it's not about selling it into fiat for some that are thinking that it's about, yes, temporarily having, but it's not a, that's why I keep saying it's all about perspective. This part of the drop, I mean, this is, it's not, it's such a weird spot because no, nobody really wants it in fiat. That's the problem. I just want to see this market shake it out. I want to see it finish this out. I just want to see this shake it out now. Oh, yeah, we've been through the trenches, Mr. Trades. And for anybody who hasn't, he's MQT in the Telegram too, just so you remember. Think of it this way: the US dollar is shit. Better to spend Bitcoin anyway, don't sell. I mean, not necessarily true. 15 months. Thanks for being in Townsend 15 plus months. 1970 legend in Townsend for over 1 year with the I told you so badge. Want to do a friendly wager on the game. I'm not stupid enough to do that. I know one of these years Ryan Day's hanging 600 points on us, and it very well might be this year. So, no, I would not wager on this game. I told you I'm probably going to have to end up buying you the championship belt this year because you're going to win back-to-back titles. Hey, if you're asking me whether you should sell or hold XRP, you do nothing. I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't give you that answer. I already told you guys I wasn't selling my XRP right now, so what I have. I'm not selling the XRP. I can do things outside of it, but I'm not, you know. The only time this becomes a problem for somebody is if you were buying it at $3 and $3.50 or $2.50 or $2.20. Yeah, because you start to see that. You know, you start to see it, but it depends what your plan is. I say it all. It just depends what your individual plan is. Like Bitcoin, I don't know what it's doing, but Bitcoin really makes it look like it wants to come down to that 92.4 in a very short. I hope it just does it now and gets it over with for peeps' sake. The only problem is now look at that 4 hour. Is that going to even clear out enough? I think it's setting up a move to where it could come to 85. That's my biggest problem. If it comes right through there, because then in theory, if it came to 85, then you might come back up and back test 92.5 as a resistance instead of being a bullish support there on the fair value gap. And then you open up the door to that rising wedge finishing out. So any thoughts on IOTX? It's a steal right now. I haven't looked at IOTX right now. I by price it might look like a steal because it had a nice run up not too long ago and then it started coming back down. But until the market figures out what it's going to do, these are going to continue to look like good deals. But this is on the verge of just falling off a cliff as well. Like it looks like a good deal, but if it falls off, I mean, how far does it fill this out? But yeah, I gotta go out there soon with my son just to make sure he's good. Yeah, this whole thing looks a little odd. Because it's got so much room to come down here after that fake out. Look, the worst thing that could have happened was these 5 days of fake outs. Because it builds a bigger base to make it's like working its way back down now. Makes it tough. Let's see. Let's see. Happy Sunday. Hey, Louville, welcome in and thanks for being in Town Zone for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. Says happy Sunday time. Haven't been keeping up with everything. Been real busy. My son's Pop Warner football just ended. You know what that's? Oh, I absolutely do. Fell a little short this year, so we're done. Time to catch up. Hey, at least he played through the season. You're not going to win every single year. That's the truth in sports. If you're lucky, you win 1% of the championships. Most people never win a championship. So it's always you're trying, and it never happens. Fortunately, in my life, I've been fortunate to win a championship in basketball, baseball, a lot in bowling. I got to coach a championship in basketball and football last year, as a matter of fact, on my birthday. 1 year ago, I got to coach a championship in football, which was nice. Ironically, it was on my birthday, the championship game, which was pretty cool. Let's see. Or no, was that the year of 23? Maybe that was 2 years ago now. That might have been 2 years ago. Wow, time goes fast. Whew. Time does go fast. That was 2 years ago. Wow. But yeah, I gotta go though. I've extended this live. I don't know how long I've been on. I usually only on an hour. It's been an hour and a half. I know everybody's excited because we get to talk about this while the market's potentially dropping. I wanted to see if this would fall out. That's why I've been on for a little bit longer. And yeah, it's come down $1,400 now, Bitcoin. I think XRP was around 222, 221 when we started, so hasn't had much of a pull down, but it's come down and made a new low from yesterday, which is interesting. If you take profit or sell, what do you put it in? It's a good question, Scotty. That's a good question. That's why everybody needs if you're gonna put cash somewhere, if you're gonna decide to do something, I like to have that all planned out. Like there's areas that are the zones, and then you just kind of got to play it that way. And then you got to figure out, like, the other thing is like if you're selling something, where's your buyback? Like that's another decision. That's another decision. So I'll try to come back tonight as long as everything's going good with my son. We'll do the live tonight. Now IOTA's down over 4% now all of a sudden here. Some of these things are getting down here a little bit now, where you're starting to see a little bit extended movement. 5% on SHX, 3% on Quant, 4.4% on CRO, 3.2% on Linea. We've got total crypto market caps down 1.7%, while simultaneously the USDT dominance is up 1.7%, which is not a good sign. Total threes down 1.6%, others is down 2%. Algo's down almost 3%. IOTA's down almost 4%. Ethereum's down over 3% now. Oof. Getting closer to $100 down. Bitcoin's down 1.5%, almost below 94K. XRP slipped below 217 now, down almost 3%. XLM's down 3.5%, barely hanging on to 25 cents. XDC's now down 1.9%, which it should have a bigger come down now. That gave an opportunity for anybody who wanted to take that 6%, like I said yesterday, and then reposition. I thought that was an opportunity because it was going up when it didn't have any sustainability. So you got to make a decision there. Hopefully on Winning Wednesdays, it'll be a spectacular deal this week. VeChain down 4.4%, HBAR down 4.3%, VeChain down below 1.5%, and HBAR down below 15 cents again. Let's see. XPR is down 3.6% to 0041, so almost below the 004 level now. Epic's barely hanging on to 58 cents. Now all of a sudden down 6.5%. I'm glad we talked about this one when it broke that support, just in case anybody was thinking about that. But again, I don't know what it's going to do here because now we could pull up, retest. Maybe the market needs to get some volume. Otherwise, this is going to get very bad very quickly. It really is. If we're going to have one of those 15% days across the board, 10, 15%, and all, it's if the market doesn't pick up pretty quick here. Because Bitcoin is literally on the verge of dropping like $1,500 right now, and that's going to allow these tokens. But I mean, that's the problem. Bitcoin, yeah, to get to the fair value gap, but technically it's got a drop set up to like $9,000 down right now if it played out fully with that. What could be perceived as a bear flag that's set up or a bearish consolidation. The cycle will hit different than ever. I can feel it. Up, up, up we go. Yep. Yes, but we're here right now. Yep. Thanks for your extended time. Your guidance gives confidence. Oh, thank you, John. John Bugathorpe, and thank you for being in Time Zone for over 1 year at the I Told You So badge. Prior, have a good day as well. Mr. Scott, My Yard Now, Mike B, thanks for being in Time Zone 3+ months with the XP Meteors. I greatly appreciate you all. I do. Makes it a little more comforting when you're talking about this, trying to see what everybody's thinking. And then we can see, like, when we're talking about what's the options, like if you sell out, what is the option? Or if you buy now, what's the objective? Like, or if you're trying to buy, where should, So, but yeah, other than that, thank you guys. Thank you guys. We'll reconvene later tonight.